Well, good evening, everybody. And I don't know you guys. So Nick, John, Emily, Adam, Courtney, and John. I see your parents did not want to waste a consonant there. That's good. Yes. I always laugh when I see people with a whole bunch of extra letters. I'm like, why? Like, literally, your name could have been N-I-K. Done.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Is that how you do it? Yeah. My name's Jared Blake, and typically when I do a show like this, I would open up with something kind of flashy, right, to catch your attention right away. But I've opted for the way less popular and rarely ever seen Q&A opener. So if you guys have questions... I'm just kidding. We're not doing But as a performer, I do get asked the same questions all the time. So this is kind of a biographical type show for me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how I got started and stuff. But we'll start with those questions. So people always ask, how long have I been doing this? When did I start? Is this my real job? And then finally, do I believe in real magic? So I've been doing this semi-professionally, which just means I've been getting paid for about 30 years. I started when I got interested in magic when I was 6. My grandfather showed me my very first trick when I was 6 years old. When people ask me if this is my real job, I just look at them and say yes. What I think they're actually asking is, how is it that you found a job you can make a living at that is this fun? Now, it's not my only job, but it has been in the past. But it is a real job. And then finally, do I believe in real magic? And that answer is no, I don't. I don't believe in the supernatural or anything like that, but it's more nuanced than that, right? And so what I'm hoping is that this show sort of helps you all answer that in your own way, right? So we'll go back to the beginning. This is sitting here. This is a good luck charm. And my grandfather, he was a performer in vaudeville at the very tail end, right? And he was not a magician. He was a dancer, singer, but he knew some magicians, and they taught him tricks. And then he showed me a couple of those tricks when I was little. But this was meant to bring good luck. And some of the guys in his troupe showed him how to do this. And this is a real thing. I looked it up to make sure he wasn't just lying to me, right? But it's a little triangle bill. You fold it up that way. And the idea is you carry it around with you, and it absorbs all the positive energy and then deflects all the negative energy, right? And then right before your show, you open it up, and it releases all the positive energy. And the reason I carry this $2 bill is this is the bill that my grandfather used to show me my very first trick. And if you don't believe me, this bill is from 1976. So he gave it to me in 78. I was 6 years old. There you go. And I carried it in that little triangle. That's why it's so nice. But this is the trick he showed me. So I'll show you guys the very first trick that I ever learned. So you can do it with any bill. If the portrait of Jefferson is facing you, then we're good. You fold the bill in half. You fold the bill into quarters. You fold the bill into pieces. You fold it into sixteenths, because I think math is important. You unfold the bill once, twice, 3 times, and yet a fourth. And if you look closely, you'll see Jefferson is now doing a headstand. I said it was the first trick I ever learned, John, not the best. Not the best trick I've ever learned. But just know that I, with that trick and a few others my grandfather showed me, I made it all the way through my teen years, never got beat up once. Right? And then eventually I moved away and found a mentor, which is really important magic, but rarely ever done anymore. Right? And my mentor's name was Bruce Martin. He went by the Boston Man. He grew up in Boston. He was a street performer back in the 40s or so. And when I met him, he was very curmudgeonly, right? He was like a get off my lawn, kid, that kind of guy. He was 72 years old. And somebody else referred me to him and said, it's $20 for an hour. So I went over to him, had a $20 bill, said, hey, Bruce, I heard that you give lessons. I gave him $20. And he was like, what do you want to work on? And I said, I want to work on card tricks because I love card tricks. And he said, no, everybody does card tricks. You're going to learn a coin trick. And so he forced me to learn coin tricks. And the very first thing that you learn to do as a coin trick, give it a little squeeze and a blow, and it vanishes. Now, I don't do it that way, as you've already seen. I like to use this unnecessarily large handkerchief and a little, and I've got that in my pocket, and a little teeny tiny coin. Now, the reason you use this is because this is a lot of working space. You can hardly see when you put the coin in there. Give it a little squeeze, and it vanishes right inside. And if you want it back, you just do 1, 2, 3 little waves, and the coin comes back. Now, once you've learned how to do that, you can graduate to what they call a jumbo coin. Now, I don't do the jumbo coins. Those are hard, right? But if I did, it'd probably look like that. But I will stick to the little coins for now. We'll stick to the little coins for now. Eventually, I graduated, and he let me do some card tricks. And just like coin magic, you want to start with something basic. And so every magician kind of starts with the pick a card, find a card trick. And the reason they do that, I think, is because the instructions are in the name, right? You can't hardly forget what that is. Nick, you're close to me. I'm going to ask you to pick a card. Now, I will tell you, when a magician does this, it's very deceptive, right? You guys have no idea if all those cards are different, if they're in some special order, right? They could all be the same card. So I'm going to let you pick a card you like. So take one out of there, Nick. Don't take a joker. I'm already here. And you can show your friends. Of course, don't let me see it. And look at it one more time, Nick, because if you forget it, it makes me look stupid, and I'm good at that on my own. Very good. Nick, drop it right there. You're a magician, and I know how hard it is to remember a card when somebody asks you to pick one. The idea here is for me to find it, but there are two jobs that a magician actually has. And I think magicians often forget the first one, and that is to convince you it's not going to be easy to find. I know where it is, in these 52 cards, and on a good day, that's not even bad odds, right? So I would shuffle the cards. And I would talk a lot, which would be distracting, if not obnoxious for you guys. And then I might do some fancy cut. It's fancy, right? Yes. And then that brings us to one card, Nick, the Ace of Diamonds.
That is not my card.
I'm not saying it's your card, I'm just saying Ace of Diamonds.
Yes. That is, yes.
That is a card.
It is a card. Yes, that is a card. You know what? All of that is not really magic, right? It's just me shuffling the cards. It's sort of keeping track of where your card is. It's not even sleight of hand, right? And I already said I didn't believe in real magic, but if you watch the Three of Hearts right there, this should look familiar. Does that look like your card? Oh, good. Very good. Yeah. Oh, you like that, Adam? I did. Now, so let's see. We did the coin tricks. We did the card tricks. Oh, and then I got into mentalism, the mind reading stuff, ESP, right? Emily, if that is your real name, think of a number from 1 to 5. You got one? Name your number.
4.
Check it out. So we're going to use some cards here. John, you're going to be my helper. You'll be the magician. Take a look here. Can you see any of those cards, even from your good angle? Can you see those?
Nope.
So imagine me like this, right? I can't see any of those, and I'll turn my head away, okay? So Emily, what I'm going to do is run my finger down the corner like this. Whenever you'd like, you say stop for me, okay? And then I will show everyone. That way it's just not on you to remember the card.
Stop.
You got one?
Yes.
Excellent. Everybody take a look. Nick, I'll come back around in case you didn't see it. Got it?
Thank you.
Right now, Emily, you're thinking of one of these 50-ish cards. I say that because there may be some missing. But I'll set them there because in order for me to determine what your card would be if I was doing magic or sleight of hand, I'd have to manipulate them in some way. But right now, you're merely thinking of a card. And there's nothing in my hands. So, Emily, stare at me awkwardly. Okay, dial it back, killer. That's good. You're thinking of a red card, a heart, the King of Hearts. See, I am psychic. Or psychic. Sorry, psychic. Oh, well, thank you. Courtney. I'm trying to make up for all this other stuff that was going on. Courtney, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you to, we'll do it on the table, but you'll cut the cards, and then you'll set the other half at this odd angle like that, okay? Can you do that for me? And if you maybe lean forward, that would help. Nope. I'll slide these towards you, going out of camera frame. So yeah, set those off to some other, perfect, and then set those at an odd angle on top. Excellent. So this brings us in this sort of biographical journey to the point that my show's at now. So now my show's more about fate and good luck and unlikely coincidences and this idea of the illusion of free will. Now, Sam Harris is I'm a huge fan of Sam Harris's. He's a mentor in his own right towards me. And he has this idea that free will is not really all that free. Like the decision you make is really predicated on all the influences and decisions you've ever made before. And so if somebody literally could catalog everything you've ever done, they would know what decisions you would make. And that happens to us all the time, right? We don't call it magic, we call it marketing. That's essentially what it is, right? So let me demonstrate a little bit, Courtney, with you, if that's okay. All right, so you made a choice to cut the cards, right? And it felt like free will. Didn't it? Yeah, okay. Would you like top or bottom?
Bottom.
Can you deal 10 cards into a little pile right there on the table?
From the top.
Perfect, and I'll take those from you. We'll put these away so we have a clean table here. And I'll take those from you, Courtney. So I'm going to give you have no idea what these are.
No.
I have no idea what these are. And now we're not going to have any idea what order they're in. All right, so we'll give them a little mix, and then we'll give them one last little cut here. All right? Now, I'm going to have you make the final decisions because free will, as an illusion, feels like you're actually making the decisions, right? So I'm going to deal or switch. So I'll say deal or switch. You say deal, I'll deal it down. If you say switch, I'll switch it with the next card. Okay? So deal or switch.
Deal.
Perfect. Deal or switch. Ah, I knew you were going to say that. Deal or switch. Oh, see, they come fast and furious. Deal or switch.
Deal.
Oh, okay. Deal or switch.
Deal.
Deal. We have, we got 3. Deal or switch.
Deal.
We have the last 2. You can deal or switch. Ah, very good. So I will lay these down, and you can see that you have made 3 switches, which essentially means you changed the order of 6 cards in there. Okay? And you felt like you had a choice and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 random cards from a shuffled deck. You had decisions where to start that deal from, right? You cut them, and then you chose the final order of these cards. Let's see what they are, first of all. So there's a king, a 3, a 9, a 6, an 8, a 6, a 5, a 6, a 5, and an ace. And that probably doesn't mean anything to you guys. But if you can see me on the inside, I'm smiling because I recognize this sequence of cards. Not really the cards, but the symbols, right? Because I've carried this around with me for 44 years. Because every dollar bill has a 10-digit number on it.
No way.
Nick, can you read those digits out loud?
No way. K, 3, 9, 6, 8, 6, 5, 6, 5, ace.
Now, I don't know if that was fate, luck, free will, but I think it does show you don't necessarily have all the free will, do you?
Wow. Love it.
So, we're going to do one more, and then we'll wrap it up. Now, you can forget about all the other stuff that we just did. Now we're just going to have fun, okay? So we're going to have fun. I'm going to forget about all the other stuff that just happened, and we're going to have fun. John, you haven't really helped, even though you've been really close. So, first, I'm going to make a prediction. Hang on one second. Oh, no, I got it. Okay, we're going to make a prediction. No, I do like the well-groomed beard, though. That is nice. If I could grow one like that, I would. Touch a card for me. You can touch anyone you'd like. So, perfect. Using this unnecessarily complicated selection process, we are now isolating John's card, face down in an all face-up deck. And most magicians would not be this fair, but I will show you it is indeed the only face-down card in there. For the first time, let's see. I'm afraid these are going to fall off too. For the first time, let's see what you chose. In this case, you chose the 2 of hearts. Never works for me. 2 of hearts, but that only matters because, John, it did work. Chose the 2 of diamonds. Now, here's the deal, John. Some people think I'm using extra cards. We're going to make that unique. I'm going to give you a clickable Sharpie. Put your name all fancy right down the middle of that for me. Perfect. Wow, that was fancy.
Very fancy.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody used cursive anymore.
I was famous once.
You were famous once? You've done that a few times. You know what's weird to me is even though we've had all these hiccups and stuff, this feels like something I've seen before. Like deja. You know what? It was a dream. And you guys were all there. But you were a lot happier to see me in the dream. Not you, John. You were pretty indifferent even in the dream. Now, John, in the dream, I asked you some questions. First of all, do you know how to shuffle? And in the dream, he did the same thing, and then he proved it by doing this, as I've heard, go fish or 52-card pickup style shuffle. Yeah. And this, of course, just leaves cards facing every which way. It's just a mess. Now, that, of course, leaves cards facing the right way, the wrong way, both ways, every way. In the dream, John, I asked you if your card was on top, and you said...
Negatory, good buddy.
He wasn't as elaborate in the dream. But I asked you if your card was on the bottom, and you said...
No.
That's exactly what he said in the dream, because we know your card is lost somewhere in the...
Middle?
That's exactly what he said. This could be the dream, John, but to prove it, you did the magic. Could you snap your finger for me? And in the dream, it fixed all the cards. Oh, but even in the real world, it fixed all the cards except for John's card. All the other cards were fixed. And I know this is just like the dream because Dream John didn't get any applause either. Oh, no. There you go. Now, that's crazy, right? But it's not crazy that you guys were in my dream. That happens before I do this trick every time. It's not crazy that John did the magic because I'm assuming you're magical. What's crazy is I only use blue cards, but in the dream we were using red cards. And when I woke up this morning, there was one red card folded up, laying on my floor. Did you guys notice? I have a card too. So, John, I asked at the beginning, I kind of asked everybody whether or not magic was real. And that's for you to decide. But you guys know you weren't in the dream. John, you know you weren't really there. But how do we explain it?
What?
John, you can keep that as a cheap souvenir. That's cool. Well, it took a while, but we got there in the end, didn't we? Yes.
Whoa!
Thank you very much, you guys. Thanks for being patient with me. Yes.